Welcome to the Strength for Life podcast with Pastor James C. Johnson, a ministry of NorthStone Baptist Church in Pensacola, Florida.
Brother George Schubert, welcome to the Strength for Life podcast.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Pastor Johnson, welcome to your own podcast.
Thank you, Andrew. Yes, I'm excited about this pod today, George. Now, listen, pastors are not supposed to have favorites, but you are one of my favorites, Brother George. One of my favorites of the people I get to pastor. So I'm excited about the podcast audience getting to hear from you and get to know you.
Yeah.
You know what I think about you too. So
Well, praise the Lord. Amen. Yeah.
I second what you said, Pastor Johnson. I have gotten to work with Brother George often on Matthew Works for him more than I do, but you've got 40 acres, correct?
actually closer to 50 acres, but we only manage about 25 of it.
Right. So I've got to help Brother George. I've got to help you with, cutting grass and weed eating and stuff. And we've gotten to talking and, through our conversations, I've thought, I really hope we can get Brother George on the podcast to give his testimony and just talk over some other things like that. So, but Brother George, here's something we've talked about in the past, and I want to bring it back up on the podcast. As everybody does, you have core memories that you go back to. And this is one of my core memories where I was at your wedding.
This is one of my core nightmares. Okay. This is what you hope never happens when you're a pastor.
Yeah.
So I thought this was lost in the archives forever, Andrew, but somehow it's resurfaced.
It's bad.
Am I correct in remembering too? I think we were the first from the church to actually get married into church.
Oh, I don't know for sure.
I think
maybe.
we were the first ones you married into church, and we were both from the church.
Okay, probably. That's right. Yeah.
That does sound correct. Yeah. But this is one of those moments that it stays in my mind as a good one, as a good core memory. So here's the video.
Good memory.
Yeah.
Extend that invitation for you to trust him today. George, would you please repeat after me the following words? I, Barbara. I, Barbara.
Hi, George.
Yes. Yes. We might have to do this a few times here. Get the pastor. You are George, and you are Barbara. Yeah. The pastor will figure this out here in a minute. Go ahead. I, George, take thee, Barbara.
Oh, what a fun moment.
Oh boy, it's hard for me to watch. For sure.
I'll tell you, I told you that at the time that I said it was perfect. It fitted in just right. It took some of the solemnness out of it.
Sure, yeah.
And and I think everybody enjoyed it.
Yes, yeah.
We certainly did. The way you said it twice was hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Hi, Barbara.
Yeah.
But it was, it was like, George, repeat after me. Hi, Barbara.
Right. Oh boy.
We need to keep that video alive as long as
Yes.
That's
we keep it
hilarious.
coming back.
Yeah.
Now, Brother George, how long have you been at NorthStone?
I'd have to say it's probably about 7 years.
Yeah.
About 7 years, because you've been here, about 9 to 10.
Correct. Yeah.
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 So I was here a couple of years after you had started.
Okay. Yeah.
So I'm going to say about 7 years. I couldn't remember the exact date.
Yeah. We were talking just a second ago about some of the other churches you had visited. What was it about NorthStone that made you want to attend here?
It was the people. At first, well, obviously the pastor I enjoyed, I listened to him. I listened to the pastor intently, and I enjoy how he preaches, how he gives the snippet out of the Bible and then explains it down to a point that, and this is something I was never given before. So yeah, but the people welcomed me very warmly, and that struck me versus the larger churches where, you just walk in and you sit down and, somebody may say hi to you or not,
Yeah.
Yeah. NorthStone's a very friendly church.
It's very
And of course,
extremely friendly church.
The church is the people, and there are some very outgoing. I mean, maybe in their hearts they're kind of introverted, but they know that one of the things that's pleasing to the Lord is to engage one with another. And so, yeah, I love how healthy our church is, how vibrant it is, how outgoing people are, and just genuinely burdened for one another. There is a welcoming atmosphere at our church.
Well, you mentioned the possibility of people being introverted, and that brings me to a point that I am an introvert. I took, I've been getting better over the years, but I'm still an introvert. I took a Myers and Briggs course. It was a test, and many things were done in the test, but one of the things was to determine how much of an introvert you are. And out of a possible score of 64 to be an introvert, I was a 63.
Okay.
So, but this was, I was working at Fluor at the time, and they wanted all of these supervisors to take this. So, but over the years, I've gotten much better. Especially when I retired, I got a lot better,
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
So
I feel similar to you, where I like to stay out of big social groups and to stay to myself. But NorthStone Sundays are a day that I feel like I can socialize and talk to a bunch of people because they are very welcome.
yes, in fact, I find that, I don't do good in a large group.
Yeah.
But I find that at NorthStone, they almost just force you into it, that you want to do it.
Right. Yes, sir.
So
Yeah. Now, Brother George, you've written out your testimony,
Yeah.
and we've talked about it in the past, me and you just working and talking through some of the details of your testimony, but you sent it to me and I got to read through it. So if you would, I'd like for us to just take the next few moments, and if you would just read your testimony for us.
I can do that.
That would be great.
I have to put on my readers, so
Yes, sir.
another thing that happens in old age. Well, let me see. Okay, I was born August 19th, 1944. Now, to save you from doing the math, that makes me 81 years old. So,
Four score. Yeah, good for you.
And actually, I'm 40 plus now. So,
Yeah.
I tell everybody I'm actually on borrowed time now. But my family did not believe in religion or church. I don't know if they believed in God. My mother, Elaine, had a lot of anger issues and had no friends. She argued with everyone. She once told me that I didn't need friends, as friends were nothing but a burden. So my father, George Sr., I'm a junior. I don't use the junior, but I am a junior, was an abusive alcoholic and a Chicago police officer. Every day after coming home, he would go to the bar across the street. A couple hours later, he'd come back drunk and proceed to beat one or both of us. My parents divorced when I was 7. I never saw George after that. I was made a ward of the court. Elaine was given full custody, and I was to remain in the house until I was 21 years old. Now, this is something that she told me. Now, I don't really know for fact if that's all true, because at times I feel she just wanted to keep me there for her benefit. Elaine remarried when I was 10 to Edward Spizzeri. He's an Italian. He was stern. There was no reasoning with him. It was his way or else. I was never thanked or told that I did a good job for anything that I was made to do. Instead, I got nothing but put downs. I was stupid. I was an idiot. I was a moron. I couldn't follow instructions. I would never amount to anything. That I was a failure in life, on and on. As a result, I became a loner and an introvert. That's where that came from. And had little association with others. This continued through school. At age 11, Ed decided I would be raised Catholic.
Okay.
He was Italian, goes hand in hand. After performing all their rituals, I was made to go to church on Sunday. Neither Elaine or Ed ever went with me. During this time, I began questioning the Catholic teachings, which resulted was my rejection of church and religion, and became lost and stayed lost until the age of 66.
Hmm.
My mistake was I also turned away from God.
Hmm.
I have a half-sister, Marlene Roos Missouri, born in 1955. She was born with a double hair lip and cleft palate. It was found that this came from Ed's side of the family. Through guilt, he spoiled her, and once Marlene realized that she used it to her advantage.
Hmm.
For my 21st birthday, my present was 2 weeks to get out of the house.
Oh, wow.
And George Sr. attempted to contact me at 21 and again at 23. I would not talk to him.
Hmm.
The last attempt was in 1987, or so I thought. My mother gave me a Christmas card that came to her house from George. The postmark and return address had been cut off. And later, curiosity got the better of me, and I tried to find him. Searching, I discovered he had died.
Hmm.
Ed died in 1976, and my mother in the mid-90s. I don't know the exact date my mother died because I was not informed of it other than through a letter from the attorney.
Hmm.
Marlene was still living with her when she died and developed the same hatred she had. I had been disowned because I had moved. And when I moved to another state, I lost contact with them. As a result, I did not attend Elaine's funeral. I found out she had passed away when I received a letter from a copy of the will from a Chicago attorney. The letter was very blunt and stated I was not to attempt or contact Marlene as she wanted nothing to do with me.
Hmm.
And everything was left to Marlene in a trust. So
Hmm.
that answered the question for me was, did my mother ever really care for me? And, basically the answer was no.
Hmm.
I lost my wife to a suicide. This is something you never expect or can prepare for. She had a gambling obsession. During the night, she shot herself. There's no need to say anything else about that.
Mm-hmm.
Now starts a series of events that brought me back to God. After her death, I was talked into going back to ballroom dancing. Okay. Now that's something that you were going to ask me about later on, about some of the secrets of my life.
Yes, we'll talk about it.
Yes. But I used to do ballroom dancing.
Yeah. By the way, George, I do tell people that the top 3 best dancers in the church, I say George Schubert, of course, but then I also throw in Asher McBride and Quincy Williams. I think the 3 of you need to have a dance-off. You're the only formally trained dancer.
Yeah, well, and they dance more of the modern.
Yeah.
Which I don't do that.
Oh, I've seen Asher McBride on the big screen at the hockey stadium.
Yes,
Uh-huh.
Playing the music in there, and then Asher just busts out his moves. He's very talented, but I think it's just in the moment. No training. He's just following the vibe there.
Let's see. Somewhere in here. Oh yeah. Enter Evelyn. Evelyn at a dance while talking to someone, I heard a very soft, sweet, and timid voice ask, "Would you care to dance with me?"
Mm-hmm.
And I tell how I looked up into the face of an angel and immediately said yes. This always embarrassed Evelyn when I would say that. We lived about 30 miles apart. During our dating, I asked her to go out on Sunday, to which she said she had to attend church. I think it was at that time something made me started to change. A little while later, I asked where she attended church, and she asked if I could mind if I went to church with her. God was at work.
Mm-hmm. Amen.
I traveled 30 miles to attend church with her at First Baptist of Belchase. It's a small church. There I found people warm and receptive, something I was not used to, and found myself riveted by what was being preached by Pastor Sam Gentry. I started attending church regularly with Evelyn. I also started going to functions at the church that the church put on. My favorite being the senior dinner, which we don't have here, but they had a senior dinner that the church held once a month. And let's see, I can skip reading this, but once a month everybody would bring in a dish, and there was some good cooking down in Louisiana.
Yeah.
And we would have the church, the dinner, and then they would have the fellowship, and then we would sing. Someone played the piano or play a guitar, and the pastor played guitar, so
fun.
And
some Louisiana food sounds terrific.
Louisiana food, and it was good.
Yeah,
it was good. Brother Sam married us in 2010. The only thing I missed about it, I wish I would have probably joined the church then. I did not join it. I had not been biblically baptized yet. I had been sprinkled, from the Catholics, but a year later we moved to Lafayette, and after searching, we attended the First Baptist Church of Milton. There, Pastor Bo Guidry, good Cajun name. It was at this church I accepted Christ as my Savior, was baptized, and became a church member.
Amen.
So, with God's and Evelyn's help, I am continually changing and improving my life and how I live. I now understand that I am a sinner and that Christ died for me and my sins, and I have future in heaven.
Amen.
By reading the Bible, something I had never been exposed to, I discovered God uses people to aid in things he wants accomplished, and I thank God for Evelyn.
Amen.
Evelyn passed away in 2020. I have married again to Barbara. We met at church, a good place to meet someone, and she helped enough through my dealings with grief, but that's another story, and maybe someday I will tell it. I have done much in my younger years that I'm not proud of, and whenever I think of it, my past, which is often, I am ashamed at times. I will leave out parts of my life as this between God and me, and although I know I have been forgiven, I continually pray and apologize for my past. Where Elaine, George, and Ed are today bothers me, as teaching tells me where they will spend eternity, and it deeply troubles me. I still worry about Marlene's future and believe she has a chance at redemption. Today, Marlene lives in Orlando, Florida. I have made 3 letter attempts to open communication with her. In the last one, I sent her a Bible along with the letter. In the letter, I explained living with hatred is not the way to live, and I wish she could find God as I have. I have not received any response. Church and the Bible have taught me that I have to forgive, and I have to admit, having the background I have, it's not easy. God is helping me, and in my heart, I believe I have. I pray this is true. I want to take this opportunity to thank Pastor Johnson for his counseling, as well as his preaching and teaching of the gospel. It has helped me more than I can express in words. Most of all, I thank and praise God for the mercy and grace he showed in bringing me back to him, giving me salvation and saving me from eternity I do not wish to think about. Thank you to all.
Amen, George. That's wonderful. It's powerful.
I had heard that testimony, not the written version, but we had just talked over your testimony.
Yeah.
And that's the condensed version, I know.
That's the condensed version. I think the original one that I gave Pastor when I was joining the church is about 7 pages.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And I had you share it as a result.
Well, you had me, yeah, you
afternoon
limited me
service.
to 10 minutes,
Yes.
and I had to take the 7-page thing and reduce it down to 10 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. That was some years ago with a
That
Sunday
was-
afternoon
yeah,
service
that
we
was.
had. Yeah.
I think we were still in the
Sliger.
probably in the 200s range then
Oh, right.
of people. Now we're beyond 400 now, I guess, huh?
Well, I think yesterday we had 330 attending,
No, I'm
but
talking about
total membership.
members.
Yeah. If I could get them all on the same Sunday, George, that'd be, I don't know.
One of these times I'm going to go through my phone and I'm going to count all of them that are in there.
Right. Yeah. It's wonderful to be a part of a growing church.
Yes, it
I
is.
remember Evelyn very well. The last couple years of her life, I got to be her pastor, and she would often comment. Now, of course, she was a Southern Baptist,
Yes.
and of course, we're an independent Baptist church. She would say to me after services, Evelyn would, she would say, Pastor, she loves our church. You know, she loved our church, but she said one thing that the Southern Baptists do better than us, she said, was the floral arrangement in front of the pulpit. She never was satisfied with whatever the flowers were in the sliger in front of the pulpit there. And she'd always have tips, you know, how to make them better and everything.
Yeah.
So I thought that was cute.
If you notice the that picture there, the floral arrangement that's in there,
Yeah.
that's it. You can't see the whole thing, but early on you could see it. That was made by Evelyn.
Oh,
that's
really?
awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
I recognized that when we came in.
Yeah.
Had been made by Evelyn.
Yeah. And the home that you lived in, was it off of, is it Chemstrand?
It was awful. Yeah, it was back in.
And that's where I visited you for the first time.
Yeah, that was off of Kemstrand. I can't remember the name of it was like one of these goofy names. It was
Like ostrich or.
yeah, ostrich something.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
It was a goofy name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we moved from there. We moved to Ali Sheba.
Ah, okay.
Yep.
But I just remember your house, visiting you and Evelyn, and just how everything was so well organized. You had us, Britt and I, in there for a meal,
Yeah.
and the food was terrific. And you're such a detailed person. I imagine Evelyn was as well. That's why everything was just impeccable at your house.
In fact, Evelyn probably, I would say, almost more detailed than I was. Because
Okay.
she would get on my case about things that I was doing. You know?
Yeah. Well, that story of how the two of you met dancing, Britton, you've shared that with Britton. You know, she's heard your testimony. Anyhow, she wants me to learn to dance now, George. She wants me, Britton and I, to take some dancing lessons. We like to go on cruises, and sometimes we'll see older couples that know how to dance on those cruises.
Yeah.
And so Britton's looking at me like, get your act together, buddy. We need to learn how to do this. So anyhow.
I went on a cruise once that was put on by the ballroom.
Oh,
And it was left out of New Orleans, and the whole band was there out on deck. And as we pulled out of port, we were all dancing on deck doing ballroom dancing. And they said, "But no one ever saw this before."
oh yeah.
That was a lot of fun.
Neat.
Brother George, one of the things that you had said to me when we talked over your testimony was something that I had a hard time believing. But you said that before you were saved, you were a drastically different person, personality-wise. You had mentioned to me specifically that, you know, you'd struggled with anger and you were a really angry person for many of your unsaved years.
Yeah.
To which I just didn't believe. Like, you know, Brother George, you're one of the kindest people,
Yes.
just super sweet.
Yes.
But you had mentioned that after you had gotten saved, that the Lord really changed your life.
Yes, and that's, I couldn't make it any more truer than what you just said. I was not beforehand. I had a lot of anger issues. A lot of it was due to my home life. For some reason, I had enough, call it respect, for the way I was being, you know, from my father, my stepfather, that, you know, and like I said, it was his way or else, you know, but so I would do it his way. But I knew that I could do it better. I knew there was things I could do much better than that. So it bothered me. And I became, you know, the introvert, and I had a lot of anger issues. I had a lot of problem in school. I was a discipline problem through school. I was actually at that time. I remember one incident. I was in electric shop, and we took a tour of the Edison company, which was about a half a mile from the school, and we were to meet there at like 6:30 in the morning.
Hmm.
And at that time, as a teenager, I smoked. So I'm standing outside waiting for, everybody. I'm smoking a cigarette. And the teacher walked up to me and says, "Put out that cigarette." And I says, "Well, I will when I'm done with it." He says, "No, you put it out now, or," he says, I'm going to get you expelled." I says, "Well, go ahead." And I kept on smoking. Well, they called me in
Mm-hmm.
and he tried to get me expelled until I explained that this was 6:30 in the morning. It was at the Edison company, and that this, I was off campus, and the case got dismissed.
Okay, you talked your way out of that one,
I thought,
George.
yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Now there was many that I did not talk my way out of. I had extra. What do they call that? You go from class to class to class in high school.
Oh, I don't know.
I forget the name they call that, but I had extra periods.
Okay. Yeah.
Periods. I had extra periods for most of my
Yeah.
high school.
Brother George, would you talk to us about your style? Here you are wearing a cowboy hat and a cowboy style shirt. Now, I think Barbara influenced your style these last several years. Am I right to say
Yeah,
that?
she did. Yes, she did. Well, Barbara, in dating Barbara, I found out she had horses and she had the ranch.
Mm-hmm.
We refer to it as farm, but it's really a ranch because we don't grow anything. We have horses out there. But when I was young, very young, I wanted to be a cowboy then, and I was a huge John Wayne fan,
Mm-hmm.
and hence I have a nickname today. My nickname is Duke. Britain knows that.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, she knows my nickname.
Well, you have a similar vibe to John Wayne, as far as I'm concerned, George.
I'm beginning to walk like him. I've got a bad leg now. So
Okay.
I'm beginning to drag like him. But yeah, so it's a comfortable feeling to dress this way,
Yeah.
and she enjoys it. She loves it.
Yeah.
I do. So
She always wanted to be married to a cowboy. I think
she
you told me that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so she got herself a cowboy.
She got herself a cowboy.
Yeah.
Brother George, we have talked privately over lunch or whatever, and you have told me some of the best stories that of you maybe committing pranks as a kid
Yes.
or other things. Now, my favorite of the stories that I can remember that you've told me is the one where you were at the amusement park.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you tell us that prank story?
I can tell you that. During high school, I worked at a amusement park, which was maybe a half a mile down the road from the school. And it was called Riverview. Riverview was a very large amusement park. They had like at least five roller coasters, but it was a huge park. Uh, the ride I worked on was called the Hot Rods. Hence it figures.
Yeah.
But
What are you driving nowadays, George? That's what you're referring to.
yeah, I have a Dodge Challenger.
Awesome. Yeah.
It's the Scat Pack.
Uh-huh.
Uh,
You let me drive it.
I did.
Yeah.
I did.
Down I-10.
Yeah.
And you said I could put the pedal down a little
Put the
bit.
pedal to the
And
metal.
I enjoyed that. And we didn't get caught, George. The officers didn't see us. So
Well, I have been caught once. I start school on the 29th.
yes, they're sending George to driving school.
About it.
Into driving school.
He's 4 score plus, and he's got to go back to driving school.
It's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
Just be in there with probably a lot of teenagers. And stuff.
Oh, we should have used our time with the mayor the other day to say, "Get George out of driving school." Dude, what are we doing?
Made it appeal, yeah.
But anyways, I worked on the rod called the Hot Rod. So we had all these cars, and we had a garage in the back, and we had a place where we'd change. We had uniforms and stuff like that we had to wear. Well, after working there a couple of years during, summertime and during school, a few of us guys, we decided we'd had enough and we were going to leave. But we just didn't want to walk out of the place. So
Right. How lame is that?
yeah, that was just no, it wasn't us, you know. So we got together and we made a dummy out of the uniform. We stuffed it and put a hat on it and everything. And then we had one of our friends worked on the ride called the parachutes. Now, parachutes would go up. It was tall. I can't imagine a couple of 100 feet up,
Wow.
but there was like 4 parachutes on it, and they would go up and they'd hit the top and then release, and you'd float back down. But it was all on guy wire, so it was straight up and down. You didn't float off of this thing or nothing like that. Well, the fella on the ride was in on this too, and he let me on. So we took the dummy around the back, got on one of the seats. I got on the seat next to it, and the ride starts up. And it gets about halfway up, and the guy on the ground, my spotter on the ground, he starts hollering, "Fight, fight." And I start punching this dummy. And I'm punching this thing around, and it gets almost to the top, and I heave the dummy out. Well, by the time that ride, you could just hear the people on the ground. Well, you know, later on we thought about it as I got older. I says, you know, that was really stupid. I said, someone could have had a heart attack.
Yeah.
You know, some little old lady on the ground probably have a heart attack, but nothing happened.
Yeah.
But by the time that ride got to the bottom, the police were there. The park police were there, and they rounded us up, and they took us over to the beer garden where the manager, his name was Mr. Sweeney. Mr. Sweeney was sitting there. He had heard about this. I swear he had everything he could do to keep from smiling. I mean, you know, and he says, you know, boys, we're going to have to let you go. And we said, yeah, we know that. So he says, all right. He says, take off. And then as we're leaving, he says, I'll see you next year. He's expecting us to come back.
He's going to hire you again?
Oh, wow.
But that was one of the incidents that we did.
That's so good. I wish that your generation had cell phones so that somebody could record that.
Yeah.
Throwing the dummy off.
Nobody, no cell phones. We didn't have, we had movie cameras, but nobody took a movie camera into an amusement park.
Right. Yeah. George, what did you do? Tell the audience what you did that you retired from throughout most of your life.
I was, it's kind of hard to understand, but I was an undegreed engineer. Now, and I say I was an engineer because that's what the companies called me. After working, I worked 50 years. After about 35 years in the business, they said, you got title of engineer.
Yeah.
And I started off in petroleum. I worked in the food pharmaceutical and ended up in the power. And I was a materials specialist in the power group. We would I designed some of the main steam valves, and when they would come in, you'd go through everything, and you'd have to approve the bid or disapprove it, or you pick the bid that you wanted. So it was I did stuff like that.
Yeah, very neat. Now, the last time you told me that amusement park story, I caught something when you said, I don't think you said it this time, but you had mentioned at the beginning of the story the last time you told it to me, how this amusement park was for the white people, and then the blacks had their own amusement park.
Yes. There was on the south side of Chicago, there was an amusement park called White City. And this is where the blacks used to go, mostly. We'd have a few blacks that would come up to ours too, but White City shut down. They had too many problems. And as a result, a lot of the, and I don't want to put the blacks down, but some of it was gang related. So the black gangs started coming up and coming into the park, which eventually the park ended up shutting down because they had a couple of murders in the park.
Wow.
They had one in particular was the Bobs. which was my favorite roller coaster. It's that thing would you ride that thing, you'd come out all bruised. That thing would just slam you around.
Yeah.
But they threw somebody out of the bobs when they got to the top of the first hill. They threw him out, threw him over the front, and
Whoa.
went down. And,
Hmm.
That's wild.
and that was basically about the end of the park then.
Wow. Yeah.
But I mean, this was a large amusement park, and back then, I think it cost. I don't think it cost anything to get into the park, and the rides were cheap. I mean, you could ride the roller coaster for 35 cents. You know.
Wow, those were the days.
Oh yeah. I mean, but and we had a roller rink, which I used to go out on Friday or Saturday night, and I'd go roller skating,
Mhm.
and that was also part of Riverview. They
Yeah.
had their own roller rink.
Now, throughout your life, you were athletic, and your main, like, I run pretty regularly. You were into cycling, though.
Yes, I used to run when I was in school, uh, but back then we did not have the shoes that you have today,
Mm-hmm.
and I literally destroyed my feet.
Mm-hmm.
I have plantar fasciitis in both feet now, and I can't run. So I tried running, and I got about a half a mile, and I was in so much pain I had to quit.
Yeah.
But I ended up taking up cycling at a later age. I was almost 40 years old when I took up cycling,
Mm-hmm.
and did a lot of long rides. We would go on 100-mile rides.
Yeah.
You know, it was when I moved to South Carolina, I joined a bicycle club down there, and we would do cross-state rides,
Mm-hmm.
which would take anywhere from 3 to 4 days, depending on the route that they would lay out for us. And each day would be 100+ miles.
Mm.
So we would have to, and I would have to admit I was in good shape then.
Yeah.
I'm not in the shape anymore that I was then.
And very competitive. You've shared stories with me of
I
these
was
steep
competitive.
inclines, and
Yeah.
you were letting guys know.
Yeah, in fact, they called me the goat.
Yeah.
Because I would go after hills. I would challenge the hill,
Mm.
and but that is part of my drawback. Is I'm too competitive
Mm.
when
Yeah.
in different things. I used to do shooting. I belonged to the ATA, Amateur Trout Shooting Association, and when I first started shooting, I'd get in and I'd do some, and then I started into tournaments.
We're talking about clay pigeons,
Clay pigeons.
right? You're shooting a shotgun
Yeah.
at clay pigeons. Yeah.
Yeah. And I have a lifetime average of 98.7.
Accuracy.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Out of 100, my
Yeah.
average was 98.9.
Wow. Yeah.
And
You probably still got it.
I don't know if I could. Well, I think the last time I actually shot shotgun in any kind of competition was in 1972.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
it's been quite a while.
It's probably muscle memory.
Yeah.
I'll throw the clay pigeon. You grab the shotgun. Let's see what happens. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
But I ended up giving it up because it stopped being fun.
Hmm.
It became a chore now that I had to maintain this average. I had to try to increase my average. So I couldn't, it just stopped being fun.
Okay.
So, and cycling was almost the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
I found myself challenging myself too much.
Yeah.
And so I dropped out of the organized cycling.
Yeah.
And
most of your days now, you're working on the farm, the ranch, and staying strong just what do they say, farmer strength.
yeah.
It's just staying active that way.
Well, and I was told by relatives and stuff, I almost was a farmer. I had relatives up in Wisconsin, and when I was working, I would take off 6 months and stuff like that, go up to Wisconsin and work the farm up there with my uncle. I was doing contract work, so I could take off whatever I wanted. So I would work so many months and then save my money up, and then I'd go up there.
Hmm.
but a farm came for sale up in that area, and all the family up there, they wanted me to buy it, wanted me. So I went and I looked at it. It was 180 acres, house, barns, all the equipment, and it was a milking farm, grade B, which is used for cheese. And he was milking Guernseys, which is the reddish. Now, the Guernsey produces less milk than a Holstein, but produces a higher quantity of cream, so it's a richer milk. Now, this is 1966. Now, and he had 20 head that he was milking, and had 20 head to be freshened yet. Remember all the equipment, the barns, the silos, the house. How much do you think they were asking for that?
180 acres?
180 acres.
Okay.
You told me already, so I can't guess. We'll let Andrew guess.
Oh, boy. I don't know. Like, today that would be, millions for sure.
Millions.
My guess would be 800,000.
$20,000.
In 1966.
180 acres?
180 acres.
And a house and barns?
Barns, equipment, tractors, everything.
Wow.
And all the stock. Now, what stopped me from doing it was my pride. Pride got in my way.
Wow.
We agreed. I shook hands with the gentleman. I come back. I went down, got a loan. I went back up there to sign papers. His wife got involved in it. And she says, nope. She says, not for that. She says, you can have everything except the stock. If you want the stock, you have to pay $10,000 more. $30,000. And like I said, his pride got the better of me, and I just said, nope, I'm not going to do it now. And I walked away from it.
Yeah.
Now, the plus to that is, if I had done that, I wouldn't be here.
Right.
I wouldn't have.
That's very true.
I wouldn't have met my wife.
Very true.
So,
yeah.
But and I'd probably be in the bars with the rest of the farmers up there.
Oh.
So,
yeah, the Lord directed your steps. Yeah.
Well, I wanted to ask you a few questions.
Yes.
When we had talked in the past, I had, maybe it's just because I'm so young and I didn't grow up, with that understanding. But when you mentioned that there was a blacks only amusement park and a whites only amusement park, I realized, I was like, wait, Brother George grew up in segregation. So like, what was it like to grow up as a kid in Chicago during segregation? Did you think anything of it, or was it just the way it was?
It was pretty much the way it was. It wasn't just a black and white thing. Chicago was an extremely segregated city. You had areas that was German area. You had a Greek area. You had the Chinese area.
Okay.
You had the Italian area. I mean, if you wanted food in any particular thing, you knew exactly where to go for this stuff, and you went down to the areas. And of course, we had the black area, and we'd go there for barbecue and stuff. You'd go, so in the daytime,
Right, right.
That'll probably get edited out.
No, we're leaving it in for the George. Now, did you have any black friends growing up?
No.
Okay.
No, I had no black friends growing up. We had there was a small section. It was actually like what do they call those? Where housing projects.
Yeah.
We had a small projects down off of Diversey and Damon, and that's where some of the blacks were, But no, they stayed away from us. We stayed away from them. We didn't. Now, as far as our neighborhood, the neighborhood I lived in was a mixed neighborhood. It had a little bit of everything. And one of the things I used to do when I was younger is to make extra money, I would cut grass and I would shovel snow in the wintertime. And over on the next street, which I think was Berry Street, there was a black family there. Now, I used to charge 25 cents to mow the front yard and 25 cents to mow the backyard.
Wow.
And I would do the same thing for shoveling snow. I'd shovel snow, 25 cents for the front, 25 cents for the back. Well, this black family always used to hire me. And when they would, they'd always give me $1.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, they were one of my favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they gave me a whole $1 instead of 50 cents or something.
Yeah.
So,
What do you get nowadays, Andrew, for mowing a yard?
I get 50 or 60 bucks
yeah.
for front yard and backyard.
And I had one of the old reel mows, the real.
Oh, no motor. You had no motor.
No, no motors back then.
That's
This was a push lawnmower.
Yeah.
And the shovel was just a regular shovel,
So you're working even harder and getting paid way less.
That's way less.
Okay.
Now, okay, so do you remember where you were or when segregation kind of got abolished? I know it was the cycle of different things segregation getting abolished, but when did segregation stop being a normal thing in your life?
Oh, that I really can't answer that. I don't really know.
Yeah.
I worked, for Fluor in South Carolina, and I had made friends with. I had a black lady work for me, and we actually became very close friends. And one of the rewards I would do with my staff was I would take them out to lunch. Well, one day I took her out to lunch, and she seemed a little uncomfortable. And I asked her about that, and she says, you're still in the South here. And she says, and we still have a problem here.
Mm.
And she says, let me show you. And she says, see the 3 ladies sitting over there? And I look over and they're staring at us like, a white guy with a black girl.
Mm-hmm.
What is going on here?
Huh.
And I had thought nothing of it.
Yeah.
But yet you could see in the area that it was not accepted yet.
Sure. Yeah.
So
Now, how does America's culture today? There's a lot of talk of like racial tensions where people are still really racist today. How does it compare today back?
I don't see it today.
Yeah.
I see us getting along much better than what we did back then.
Mm-hmm.
It's evident you see a lot of interracial dating. You see interracial marriages. Now, when I was growing up, my stepfather, one of the things he told me, when I started dating and stuff, he told me his favorite saying was, "If it isn't white, it isn't right." Well, and I assumed he was talking about black. Well, I dated an Oriental girl.
Okay.
And when he found out about that, he lay into me about it.
Oh boy.
And it was like, he said, I told you. I said, I thought you were talking about the blacks. He says, I'm talking about anybody,
Yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah, my father was, they would accuse my father of being prejudiced or a racist. And he would say, no, what's the other one? They'd call him a racist, or they'd call him, and he'd say, no, I'm prejudiced. I hate everybody.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
He said, I don't single anybody. He said, I hate them all.
Oh wow. Yeah.
But now, on the other hand, I do remember my father was in the automobile salvage business.
Okay.
Now, back then, it's a lot different than it is today. Back then, they had police radios in the shop, and they would listen to the radio to find out where the accidents were. And they would get into their car and they'd go out. They were ambulance chasers. They're what they call the attorneys, ambulance chasers. Well, you'd get out there and the insurance company would have a representative out there also. And a lot of times you could actually buy the car if it was wrecked bad enough or something like that. And even sometimes they would just sell you the car. The insurance company would just deem it not worth fixing.
Mm-hmm.
Cars cost a lot less back then. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're talking cars that cost $1,500 to $1,800. You know,
Mhm.
Mm.
but he had a black guy working for him back then, and I used to like him too. I can't remember his name, but
Leroy.
no, Leroy.
I'm just
There
kidding.
was a Leroy in my
Okay.
life. I can tell you about Leroy, but this gentleman died, and we went to the South Side
Yeah.
in the evening, and went to the funeral home where
Yeah.
he was laid out and everything, and we were the only white people in there,
Mm.
and but they were very appreciative that we had come,
Yeah.
to the point that when we left, we were escorted back to our cars
Mm.
so that we could get into our cars and leave without any problem from the other people
Mm.
that were in there. So I remember that. It stands out in my mind.
Yeah.
It's something I always remember.
Yeah.
I think that's good for me to hear, people my age to hear, because I remember when you said that, just briefly telling that story, I was like, whoa, Brother George grew up in segregation. And I thought, that was so distant, so far away, but to get to talk to somebody, and there's other people, in our church that are around your age that
Yeah.
have grown up in similar situations.
Yeah.
It's good for us as a culture today to hear back when America was something, and then to relook at where we're at today with that understanding of maybe this is where we were, and now look at where we actually are. And people claim a bunch of different things probably that aren't true today.
Right.
And if we
And
had a proper understanding of where we've come from,
a lot of it's
it'd
just
be easier.
political leverage nowadays.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you,
Imagine.
George, for coming on and telling your testimony.
You're quite welcome.
Really
Thank
good
you for having me.
That's awesome.
I enjoyed it more than I thought I would.
Yes. This is fun, Brother George. This was
Great.
fun.
And thank you, Pastor Kaiser, for doing the cameras.
Yes.
We got Brother George a Whosoever shirt. He's got the Spiritual Swagger shirt, but he hadn't gotten a Whosoever shirt, so we got him one of those.
Cool.
And those are restocked on the Strength for Life store. We had been sold out for a few months, but the Whosoever shirts are back, just in gray. But we've got all the sizes there for you. So check out strengthforlife.store to get your Whosoever t-shirt. Thank you for listening.